What's up, guys? Welcome to Season 2, Episode 3 of Trainer Talks with Trainer Dave. I'm joined by my third guest on Season 2, Spencer Logan.
How's it going, everybody?
Yeah, thanks for being here today. So, Spencer, if you could give a quick background on yourself and what you do.
Yeah, so my name's Spencer Logan. I am a personal trainer, and I am the owner and founder of ActivU Fitness.
Awesome. So if we'll just start off talking about ActivU. Could you just tell us about ActivU and what makes it unique?
So the thing that separates ActivU from a lot of other companies out there right now is we're not a gym. We're not an online coaching service. We are a mobile training service. So essentially what that means is if you hire me as a trainer, I will come to your location. Nice. That could be your office. That could be a park. That could be your house.
Nice.
No matter the location, we kind of meet you where you're at.
Yeah.
Literally.
That's awesome. So you would call yourself like a mobile trainer?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely.
Or like on-demand trainer?
On demand, yep.
Nice.
If you have time in your day where you'd want to book a session with one of our trainers, you can just call us up, book your session, and then we'll meet you out there.
Nice. What clientele do you typically work with?
I would say I primarily work with a lot of business owners.
Yep.
A lot of people always told me, they're like, you probably work with a lot of people that are retired or older. That's not the case. I typically find that it's people that prioritize their health,
Right.
but they don't have the time
Yeah.
to necessarily drive to and from the gym.
Yeah.
They really are looking for convenience.
Yeah.
And so they're able to get that convenience by using ActivU.
That's awesome. Did you name your business ActivU?
On purpose.
On purpose, okay. Yeah. I did. Well, just curious, what was the kind of the story behind that?
So the funny thing is, so there's a brand of contacts called ActivU.
Okay.
ActivU Oasis. Those are the contacts I use. And I
Yeah.
kind of wanted to come up with a fitness name. And so I started to play with words and whatnot. And active came into mind.
Okay.
And then U, because what I really like to do is prioritize my clients.
Nice.
So the slogan is, an active you is a better you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what type of equipment do you use to train clients typically?
So it all started originally, you know, what you could carry. And sometimes that's a little cumbersome.
Right.
It would be adjustable dumbbells, kettlebells, resistance bands, TRX,
Right.
all sorts of gadgets and gizmos where it was just a lot to take into somebody's home.
Yeah.
And so what I did is I invested in a newer company called Vitruvian Form.
Okay.
And they have what's called an electromagnetic resistance machine.
Nice.
So it's a giant surfboard-like platform.
Okay.
It runs off power, obviously, and it has two cable systems that come out of it.
Yeah.
We have different attachments. So you have handles, ropes, bars. You have a barbell.
Yeah.
You got a belt. So you can replicate a lot of the exercises you could do in a gym.
Yeah.
But then the really thing that's cool about this machine is it has eccentric loading in mind.
Okay.
So you get your resistance on the way up concentrically, and then on the way back down, it's able to apply more resistance on the eccentric portion.
Gotcha.
It has a lot of other cool features, 0 pounds up to 440 pounds of electromagnetic resistance.
Yeah.
So the other cool thing is like you were bench pressing and you were doing 12 reps and you started to get tired.
Yeah.
The machine could detect that and deload the weight.
Wow,
so
that's
it's able to adapt real time.
Yeah.
And vice versa. So if you were out of the gate pushing and you were pushing harder, it starts to add more resistance.
Nice. That's awesome. So
it's very cool.
Is that like your probably biggest piece of equipment you use?
I think yeah, it's definitely my biggest piece of equipment, but what it did is it took everything I used to carry into somebody's home and made it nice and compact, one unit.
Yeah.
Just carry it in, set it up, carry it out, load it up.
Nice. Would you say that do you ever go into if somebody already has a home gym, will you just train them with the equipment that they already have?
Absolutely, yeah. If they have a home gym, honestly, that's an ideal situation because it's less setup time for both of us.
Yeah.
However, there have been some clients that I've trained where they may have had a home gym setup, but then they tried out the Vitruvian and they preferred using that.
Okay.
Just because of the technology side of things. It's something new. So I'd say a big draw is my actual equipment.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. I gotta ask, what would you say is do you have any any crazy places you've trained people besides homes You said parks.
I trained. So this is hilarious. I used to train the owner of a trucking company.
Okay.
And one night he was coming in from out of state, and he pulled into a truck depot. And he hit me up about 3 a.m.
Wow.
And he asked me if I would train him out there.
Wow.
And I did.
Wow, that's awesome.
So technically, in a truck depot.
Yeah.
In the back of his semi.
Wow. That's crazy. That's awesome. Would you say like the majority of people you train are like pretty wealthy?
I would say so. I'd say they're not necessarily wealthy, but there are people that prioritize their health.
Okay, yeah.
So, I mean, let's look at it like if somebody really wants to take the next step with their health and fitness, they're going to understand, and that's an investment up front.
Absolutely.
And they're going to kind of maybe put money to the wayside and just kind of go all in with the training and programming. So, but I would say on average, yes, it's usually upper middle class.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, what would you say like the benefits of having a mobile trainer as opposed to going to a gym and working with a personal trainer is?
So for those business owners, obviously it's going to be convenience and time.
Right.
As a business owner yourself, I mean, we value our time more than anything else. Time is money
for sure.
At the end of the day. So being able to eliminate the inconvenience of them having to travel to and fro a gym, that's kind of the thing that I think is really beneficial for those types of people.
Right.
You also have like eliminating distractions. You don't have to worry about like a gym membership. You don't have to worry about being tied into anything like that. There's no contracts or anything like that. And then just your home is your safe space.
Yeah,
and I've kind of heard two different sides to this where for some people, their home is their safe space. Why would I want to work out there?
Right.
And then for others, it's like, it's my safe space. That's where I'm most comfortable to let somebody in to allow them to see me this way.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So it's kind of both sides of the coin there.
Yeah, for sure. I've also heard two things. I've heard with older population, I know with COVID and stuff like that, I've heard, I don't know if you've gotten any of those people, like some of the people are afraid to go to the gym.
Yes.
So, obviously you can't really get sick and inside your home.
Right.
And then I've also heard some of these business owners can be kind of on the pretty more well-known side.
Yes.
And then they don't really like seeing people at the gym and being having those distractions like you mentioned. Mm-hmm. So. And
then I think another thing to add to that, I would say that a lot of people don't know where to start.
Yeah.
And so even if I'm just their training wheels to get going, that's something like I've got a client, I've worked with her for quite some time, and now we've progressed to where she's going to the gym on her own.
Oh, nice.
And so there is progression there. I don't expect somebody to always want to work out at home.
Right.
But it just depends. It's like a case by case thing really with each client. Everybody's different.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we'll go into your education. So where did you get your degree from?
So I studied at Wichita State University and Kansas State University.
Okay.
So Wichita State, I got in exercise science and physiology. And then K-State, I studied online for health and nutrition.
Nice. Okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
How applicable do you think these degrees are in your grind as a business owner / trainer?
Tenfold.
Tenfold? Okay.
Yeah, tenfold. I mean, even some of the lesser importance of classes in those degrees, you still find value in when you're doing something like this. So
yeah, that's good. I've heard both sides. Like some people do think it's been applicable and has helped them as a trainer, but then I've also heard people say not at all.
Well, so the number one thing I would say that would helps trainers is experience.
Absolutely, yeah.
Getting out there and just doing it.
Right.
Maybe you're applying the knowledge that you learned.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, just getting out there, doing it, working with all types of demographics, different situations, I think that is the best way to fully help in your industry. Yeah.
I tell new trainers, it's kind of like, shooting a basketball. Like the only way to get better at shooting a basketball is by
repetition.
Practicing.
Yep.
And same thing with training clients. So
exactly.
Very well said. What about certifications? What certifications do you currently have?
So I had ACE. I no longer have ACE. I have NASM.
Nice.
And then I have the CNC, so Certified Nutrition Coach on top of just the NASM personal training. And then I have Corrective Exercise Specialist as well.
What about the certifications? How applicable do you think those are?
That's an interesting conversation. I hate to say it, but I feel like now more than ever, it's more of a money pit than anything
Yeah, I
else.
completely agree. Yeah, I completely agree.
And I've noticed like nowadays, it doesn't even seem like people care if you have a certification. It's I guess it depends on state.
Yeah.
But I fully think nowadays it's a money pit, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, NASM is one of those that is a money pit.
Yeah, I completely agree. What about, like, how long have you been training clients for?
So I would say I'm going on 6 years now.
Okay.
Not under my business full time,
Yeah.
but working at the YMCA.
Nice.
And then, with ActivU included, I'd say about 6 years.
Yeah, very nice. So you started at the YMCA?
Yeah.
How long were you there for?
I was there for about a year and 3 months, I'd say. Yeah, nothing too crazy.
Do you feel like this helped you as an on-demand trainer?
See, that's an interesting question because I think it helped me realize what I didn't want to do.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, me too.
So, I mean, I found that, like, I want to work for myself.
Yeah.
I want to live out my passion, and I want to, work with clients the way I want to work with clients. I think that was kind of the big wake-up call for me is just the YMCA just did not fulfill what I wanted to get out of it for.
Right.
As a trainer. So,
Yeah.
I was seeking more.
Yeah, 100%. Do you feel like you have, like, an ideal client?
I do. I think it's anybody that really prioritizes convenience and understands that the health and fitness journey, it's about a journey. It's not a quick fix. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach. It is about coaching sustainability for that client in nutrition, lifestyle, and fitness in order to get them to kind of develop a routine, a habit, a lifestyle.
Yeah.
So it's those people, but then it is also those business owners or those people that really don't have the time to put into something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Like, being coachable and then also understanding it, you got to be consistent.
Yeah, 100%
is super important.
Yes.
I was going to ask, so how is, like, would you say your retention is with your on-demand clients? Do you feel like you retain them for a long time, or do you feel like there's a little bit of churn?
I don't feel like there's high turnover at all, honestly.
Good.
I think the big thing is I have different package options, of course.
Okay.
So like monthly, 3 months, 6 months, things like
Nice.
that. So really how dedicated they are to the process, they can invest more up front, save more. But in regards to that, I would say that no, the turnover is not high at all.
Yeah, that's good.
Usually I do get to a point where I will send a client on their way.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we've worked together this long. We've accomplished XYZ goals. You've built these habits. You've sustained this lifestyle for X amount of time. Mm-hmm. Spread your wings. Go do it on your own.
Nice.
Like that to me is an ultimate success.
Yeah,
I know
absolutely.
that's weird as a business owner to be like, yeah, I eventually don't want to work with you anymore.
Yeah.
But to me, that's like the ultimate win.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. As a business person, like, obviously you might lose money.
Yes.
But like, I think that is our goal is to teach people enough and have enough confidence in themselves to where they can implement what they learned from you on their own.
Yeah.
So.
And really, I'm not in it for the money.
Yeah.
I think if any trainer tries to get in it for the money, they're setting themselves up for like failure.
Completely agree.
At the end of the day, I just want to help as many people as possible.
Yeah.
And if I'm not a good fit for them, I will gladly hand them off to you or any of the other trainers in the area that I think is a much better fit. So,
yeah, very well said.
Yeah.
So when you first get a new client, like, what is your training philosophy with them?
Always an assessment, a consultation. I've heard some people say like assessments are a waste of time. For me, I really like to focus on mobility.
Okay.
So I always put them through like a comprehensive mobility assessment, posture assessment, flexibility, range of motion, strength, like foundational strength, baseline strength.
Yeah.
And then just like a consultation to where I'm talking to them, lifestyle questions, PAR-Q questions, just getting a history of what they've done in the past, what they're currently doing, and where kind of their medical history lies.
Yeah, very nice. So I assume you typically do one-on-ones, is that correct?
Oh, okay. Well, not always.
Yeah.
I prefer them.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think, I don't know, for me, everybody is different. So to cater to 4 people's individual goals,
absolutely.
it's so hard to do.
It really is.
From a standpoint of programming.
Absolutely.
And then you look at things like nutrition, lifestyle habits, and you're trying to blend it to where it's specific to each person, and that's hard to do in a group setting.
For sure.
So there have been some times where like I have friends, they work out in the same household, just to kind of keep it easier and more convenient for them.
Sure.
But normally it's one-on-one, because I can really dive in and focus on that individual's programming and make sure that they're getting the most out of it.
Yeah, very nice. So now we're going to talk about like the business side of things.
Yeah.
So describe the challenges of running a business.
I mean, I think the biggest thing for me has been just like, where do I go? In a sense of like, I know where I want to go in my head.
Yeah.
But what are the steps I need to do to get to that point?
For sure.
That's kind of something I've struggled with, is I always put the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
And so usually it's left behind in a sense. It doesn't have anything to pull it. So that's been my biggest challenge. And then I'd say too is just like the normal frustrations with being a business owner. You have sporadic schedules. All your time is invested into your own business.
Right.
You may not get a lot of sleep.
Yep.
You're dedicating a lot of your resources and energy into your business, and that can be wearing.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Well said. How important do you think it is for trainers to understand business? Things like sales, marketing, finances.
Marketing number 1.
Absolutely.
Marketing number 1.
Yeah.
And that's been a struggle for me. But I would say marketing's number 1. Finance is probably number 2.
Number 2, yeah.
Not close or not too far behind there. And then like the administration side of things, not wearing too many hats.
Yeah.
That's something I feel like a lot of business owners run into, especially in this industry, is like, I own this online coaching business. I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, and I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And that can also put a lot of wear on on the owner. So
well said. Yeah. I feel like when you're like a solopreneur trainer, you're the trainer, you're the marketing director, you're doing all the sales.
Correct. Yeah. Everything.
You are kind of the jack of all trades.
You have to be.
Yeah. And like you said, it is a challenge struggling, I tell people all the time, I feel like there's always something you can do as a business owner to push your business forward.
Yeah.
But it's also like, where do you allocate your time to, So just kind of knowing what your priorities are, I think that definitely can be a challenge.
Definitely. I think knowing your priorities is a huge thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of want to talk about like how you go about finding your clientele. Would you say it's like word of mouth, referrals, social media?
Word of mouth and referrals are huge.
Yeah.
Social media, not so much because I don't really post a lot.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get more into that. But then like Google.
Okay, nice.
People will look up in-home personal trainer and I'll pop up and then I get a phone call.
Nice.
That's been pretty successful as far as getting new clientele.
Yeah.
But I'd say word of mouth and referrals is number 1.
I bet especially with your demographic with business owners, like that's probably pretty big because I've heard with that demographic in particular, a lot of them aren't necessarily on social media all the time. And like you said, the word of mouth is good because they do have those connections. So, yeah, I think that's big because
it's definitely huge. Yeah, I would agree.
Absolutely. So, I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on networking groups? It's funny, I think the first time we met was at a BNI.
It was, yep.
2 or 3 years ago, and I know you seem like you do a pretty good job getting out into the community and networking. So what do you think? Like, we're talking about BNI, WEBA. What are your thoughts on those?
I think they're useful if you have the time to use everything that they're giving to you or everything they're giving you access to.
Yeah.
And then I think with BNI, it's very important to like find a group that you really, really like. You don't want to go into a group just to be in a group. Right. I think that you want to really find a group where you can get to know everybody. Yeah. You can build those relationships. You can continue to foster those relationships. And then that's when the referrals start coming in is once you've built that trust.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, I've heard, because I know there's a lot of BNIs in town. But I've heard that that's a big one. Like you said, you got to find the right fit.
Exactly.
I've also heard it kind of depends on like who the physical therapist is in there, who's the chiropractor, who's the massage therapist, because they say that's where you get most referrals.
Yeah, I would say so. Obviously, there's different niches in the
Right.
BNIs. So
Yeah.
there's different like power teams is what they call them. And there's a health and wellness power team. So obviously building relationships with them is how you're going to get the bulk of your referrals.
Gotcha. Would you say you got like some good business and referrals from BNI?
Absolutely. Yeah, I got one of my favorite clients ever. So
Nice.
yeah.
That's awesome. And would you say it's referrals, or do you think, I've also heard you end up training a lot of the people that are in your BNI group?
That's primarily what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to go out and say this is where it gets tough in our industry, because if you're trying to sell personal training, not as yourself, but like in this BNI group,
Yeah.
and they're going out and they're talking to their friends and family about you and what you do,
Yeah.
it's almost like you're coming after them in a way.
Yeah.
Because I mean, how would you bring up, hey, I think you need to...
Right. Oh, yeah, I hear you. I hear you. It's probably a good thing that you train a lot of those people in the BNI group.
Yeah.
That way they actually know what your service is.
Right.
So, yeah, that's awesome. What about like Weeba? Like, what's your thoughts there?
Weeba was cool. I definitely think that Weeba has a lot of value. They have a lot of like coffee conversation. They have a lot of extracurricular events that BNI maybe necessarily doesn't have. There's a lot of people in Weeba. So I do think that's kind of the nice thing about BNI. I'll just circle back real quick, is it's industry specific. So there's only one of you. Weeba's kind of just like a conglomerate. But that also can leverage, I mean, being in a niche space where I'm on demand,
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
that can kind of, oh, maybe this trainer owns a gym.
Yeah.
Well, their client wants to train at home. So
Yeah.
then now they're looking for people that maybe own that type of business.
Right. Yeah. Very well said. So yeah, we'll talk about social media. I know you you mentioned that.
Oh, boy.
How important do you think it is for you as a personal trainer / business owner?
I think it's important, but I don't think it's the end all be all, because I don't do online coaching.
Yeah, for sure.
I think if I owned an online coaching business, I think that I would need to use social media every single day.
Yeah,
I would need to be posting every single day.
Yeah.
But where I really feel like the leverage for my marketing is just my clients themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the best referral is the people that,
Yeah.
you know, you've worked with directly.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I do think social media, there's a lot of value there.
There is. Yeah.
I kind of say it's like a portfolio. And there's a guy, Alex Hormozy.
Yeah. Oh, I'm familiar.
Yeah, he says like social media is basically so people can see you have a heartbeat online. Because what ends up happening with me is I get a lot of word of mouth and referrals, and then they look me up on social media, and then they see all these videos and posts. That's kind of like a resume.
Yeah,
And
in a
then-
way.
And then that's when they might pull the trigger and DM me or call me to want to hire me.
And I think recently I've really realized that is kind of going to be a key going forward, is to leverage social media.
Yeah.
Because the world is going more and more towards social media.
Oh, absolutely it is.
And for me, that's kind of like, but at the end of the day, you just got to suck it up and do it. And I think that's the point I'm at. So
If you had to choose between networking in person versus social media, which would you choose?
Oh, I have a strong opinion on this one. So if I did not own a business and social media wasn't as prevalent as it is, I would not have any social media.
Right. Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
I think that in-person networking, just being able to be face-to-face, you're
Yeah.
shaking hands,
Yeah.
you're having conversations, I think that is truly the best possible marketing tool.
Yeah.
Is yourself
100%.
being in front of people.
Absolutely.
I think that social media is a tool,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's the number one tool.
Yeah.
Unless, again, you're in kind of that space to where...
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I feel like nothing is ever going to beat networking in
Yeah.
person and shaking hands. I just think a lot of new trainers, they make that mistake. They think it's all about what they post,
Yeah.
but they don't make any effort to get out into the community.
Correct.
And so, yeah, well said. I think it's a great tool, but I feel like you cannot forget networking and relationships.
It can't be the end all be all.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic tool. It may bring you tons of clients.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, make sure you're still interacting with the community
Right.
and you're building those relationships face to face.
Yeah,
I think that's so important.
100%. What tips / advice do you have for someone who wants to become an on-demand trainer?
I think the biggest thing, and I'm talking to Cole and Isaac, my 2 trainers that are going to be coming on board soon, is being an on-demand trainer, you have to be very flexible.
Okay, yeah, I bet.
So you've got to be able to essentially have set hours per day to where if a client wants to book, they're able to go on, book you at that time, and then you're able to allot the drive time to, and then leaving from that client. And you also need a very reliable vehicle because
absolutely.
you are traveling.
Yeah, for sure.
So that does put wear and tear on your vehicle.
Oh,
And then just getting some good equipment too.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think outside the box.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing that I've had to do training people out of their house.
Yeah.
Is thinking outside of the box.
For sure.
I get to flex my creativity. And I love that. Like, that's something that has really challenged me.
Yeah.
Because you have a gym, you have everything right there for you.
Yeah.
But you go into somebody's home and they have nothing.
Yeah.
And say I didn't have my machine.
Yeah.
I would have to really pull some out of the box thinking, see where the client's at.
Yeah.
Okay, you're here. Let's start with this.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I think that's probably the number one thing I would say is get ready to think.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I think that's great. I mean, I feel like being an on-demand trainer, it definitely probably has helped you be very creative.
Very much so, yeah.
And I bet if you ever were to go into like I don't know, do you ever see yourself going back into the gym setting?
I don't.
Don't? Okay, that's...
I mean, the thing is like, this is such a niche.
Oh, absolutely. It is.
But it's so enjoyable. Like,
I
I never thought, personally, I never thought I'd be training clients inside of their house.
Yeah.
It just kind of happened that way.
Yeah.
But I love it. I wouldn't change it for the world. Like, sometimes I'm like, do I even need to go to the gym anymore to work out? Like, I can just work out at home.
Yeah.
So, no, I love it. I don't necessarily see me going back to a gym.
That's awesome. I was going to say, if you went to like a private studio or a gym, I bet those creative skills that you took from being an on-demand trainer would definitely carry over to that gym setting.
Absolutely.
Like, and you might even feel like spoiled with all the equipment and stuff like that.
Right.
But that's awesome. So we're going to go into a section I call hot takes.
Okay.
So they say that 90% of trainers will quit in their first year. Would you agree with that statement?
100%.
Yeah. Why do you think the turnover rate is so high in the training industry?
Expectations. People think that this is going to be what is a get rich quick kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I think more so now than ever, just because of social media. Yeah. Like, and I've seen countless times, and heard countless times of where people just like, they think it's easy.
Yeah.
It's not.
No, it's not.
It takes a lot of time, and it's going to take a couple of years to really start to scale your business.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you are working with a direct public, and they're trusting you with their health.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much more that somebody can let you in with than your health. So, but I think a lot of trainers that are new have an expectation of, I'm going to make so much money doing this.
Yeah.
Oh, I train all my friends at the gym.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
I definitely think that if you have the mentality of, I train my friends at the gym, I think that you need to really, branch out and get your certification. Yeah. Train somebody that has a medical ailment. Yeah. And then really see what personal training's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you nailed it. I mean, number one, I don't know how it was for you, but like it took a long time for me to make okay money. Like I remember the first 2-3 years of my career, I was making hardly any money at all, just grinding and working those weird hours, split days, I just think a lot of people, they don't have the grit to push through that.
Right. It can be very defeating.
Yeah.
I mean, I was there too, where, I was not making any money, and I was just like, dang.
Yeah.
Is this going to work?
Yeah. I don't think trainers understand that part. Like from day one, you're not going to be training 40 hours a week. It's probably going to take some time to build your clientele.
Yeah.
And especially at like places like the Y, like I'm sure you went through it, they have floor hours.
Yes.
And then they just get kind of stuck cleaning machines and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they're like, man, this sucks. Like, I don't want to
right.
do this. Yeah.
This is not what I signed up for.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's the steps you have to take to get to where you want to be.
100%. Yeah. And then also I like what you said is like, you said people might start off by training their friends who might be, athletes or
bodybuilders.
And that's fun and all. And like, I was kind of in that situation myself. Is I remember I would train some of my teammates at friends, football players, and that stuff's great. But probably first, again, 2-3 years of my career, I was training the general pop, and I had to kind of take a step back. And they're not necessarily wanting to do plyometrics, and stuff like that,
right? Exactly.
But you got to meet them where they're at, and
100%.
You learn really quick about that. So
well, I think so. This is me starting out as a trainer, and I'm assuming like a lot of trainers start out this way, where it's like, I'm going to make you sweat as much as I can. I'm going to make you, as sore as much as possible.
Yeah, for sure.
And now, I've realized that's not right at all.
No, it's not.
So now I definitely think that experience has helped me kind of like, oh, okay, I'm going to help you move better.
Yeah.
We're going to teach you this. We're going to teach you this. You're going to apply it to this.
Yeah.
And you're just going to feel better, move better, look better.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very well said. There's a trainer, Ben Bruno. He says he would rather have clients say the first workout is too easy than too hard, because if it's too hard, they may never want to come back.
That's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Absolutely. Do you view other gyms and trainers as competition? Why or why not?
No, because at the end of the day, like I said, I'm not in it for the money. I just want to help as many people as possible.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, I mean, even if that client's not a good fit for me, I will gladly hand them off to XYZ.
Yeah.
They need to be taken care of.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they're looking to invest in their health, they need to be taken care of.
Very well said.
Yeah.
Do you believe Wichita is oversaturated with gyms?
Do you know the number on how many we have?
I don't. It's funny. I have like a spreadsheet of like all the gyms, and I bet we're probably at like 30 to 40 if I had to guess. Cause
dang, really?
If you think about all the YMCAs, all the Genesises, all the Planet Fitnesses, Orange Theory.
That's true. Combining them all.
And all the small private studios, I would guess we're probably between 30 to 40.
I mean, I would say to that point, the more the merrier.
Yeah.
More people are getting helped.
Absolutely.
As long as the owner of said gym is in it for the right reasons and they're helping take care of people, I think that's awesome. So.
Yeah, I agree, and I think everybody's got kind of like a niche.
Yeah.
And so, there could be more of a need for a sports performance training gym or a boxing gym, like having that niche and kind of what sets you apart, I think, is pretty valuable.
Yeah.
As a gym owner.
As a trainer in general.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. So this is a new one I made. It's called Yay or Nay.
Okay. Fun.
Yeah. So number one is, so these kind of have more to do with the business side of things.
Okay.
And so number one is, like, do you like client contract / commitment? So we're talking like having a client sign a 3-month contract, 6-month contract, 1 year, and then kind of giving them like a little bit of a discount at, if they sign up for 3 months as opposed to 1 month. Do you like that business model?
I think that works better because I think in this industry, the more skin you have in the game,
absolutely.
The more committed you are to your
100%
to your goals.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Do you feel like that's a struggle getting people to commit to a 3-6 month or a year?
No, I think that within like the first week, after the consultation, the initial assessments go through and they kind of see the value and importance of things they maybe not even thought of when they were looking for a personal trainer.
Right.
I think that kind of helps them bring some self-awareness to, well, this is going to take a lot longer than I thought.
Oh, for sure.
Because I'll sit down and be so real and honest with them where it's like, you have this goal, you want to get there in 6 months.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's not a reality. We might need to be looking at closer to a year.
Yeah.
And so setting realistic expectations for them and not being afraid to do so has been something that has really helped.
Nice. No, I think that's very well said. I mean, I say it like, my highest paying clients, the people that pay by the month, as opposed to just dropping in whatever, they are probably my favorite clients to work with, but they also are the clients that see the best results.
Yeah.
As opposed to some people, I don't know if you get it, but some people just want to randomly drop in every other week when their schedule allows, which better than nothing, but it's going to be really hard to see good results, I think, if you do that.
It is. And I mean, at that point, if they think they can do it all on their own, that's totally fine. But the sporadic sessions, I don't really do that.
Okay.
I don't allow that.
Yeah, I know there are some trainers that like don't even want to mess with that.
And I'm on demand.
Yeah.
But I won't allow that. Like if I meet with somebody and they're like, yeah, I want to do once a week, I'm like, okay, great. We're gonna make sure that you get that once a week session.
Yeah. Nice.
Like I don't want to just do, okay, we're gonna train here and we're gonna do the every other week. Like I just don't. They're not gonna get much out of it.
That's good. What about incentive sales? So like the example is you have a consult and you tell them, hey, if you sign up today, you get $100 off. Do you like that model?
Yeah. More skin in the game means more off the top. I think that's kind of the way it should be. Like I don't think you should charge full price for a 6-month, program or like. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree, and I see what you're saying. I mean, I'm talking about like, it's like it's only a day offer. Like I don't know if you ever seen that where it's like
limited time.
Yeah, like
limited time deal.
If you buy with it, like if you buy today, right now on the spot, you'll get $100 off. Because obviously 3 months, 6 month, year, like you would think it would discount by the longer they commit to. But I've also seen people do it to where like they offer a consultation and then maybe if they sign up for 3 months, in addition to that 3-month discount, they get $100 off if they sign up to that day as opposed to waiting a week and trying to think about it.
To be honest, I've never ran anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah. I draw up proposals and then I send that over to the client.
Okay.
I give them time to look that over.
For sure.
And then talk with their spouse or talk with each other and then kind of come to a conclusion of this is what we want to do.
Yeah.
I always present different options.
For sure.
And there's always a discount like if you do 3 versus 6 months.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But
for sure.
I've never ran anything like that.
Yeah. I haven't either. I know I've seen some gyms and some trainers like to do that. And I'm sure, I don't know if it's necessarily wrong. But I also agree. I like to kind of give people a little bit of time and space to think and kind of like you said, talk it over. I know some trainers think like if they don't buy on the spot, they're not going to come back.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe it's like 50-50. But I just wasn't sure if that was something you like to.
Haven't, but maybe in the future.
Yeah.
Especially like a holiday thing or promo like that.
Yeah. Next one is offering free sessions. So this is when I see a lot of, I still see some experienced trainers do this, but I see a lot of new trainers do this. Like, come in for a free session, see how you like it, and then, that way you can kind of like demo and try it out for yourself. What are your thoughts there?
The consultation's free.
Yeah.
And I make that a point of just helping them kind of step their foot in the door, seeing what they're working with as far as like with me and my company.
Yeah.
And then that's what I believe as far as a free session goes.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that a referral program where maybe they refer you a new client, that client completes X amount of sessions, they get this many sessions.
Yeah.
I think that's good. But I don't think, especially because I'm traveling, I can really afford to give away too much free sessions.
That makes sense. Yeah, because I remember when I first started at the YMCA, we would do a lot of like free demo sessions.
Yeah.
And I think maybe if you're starting out, it's not necessarily a bad thing because you are getting experience when you're training people for free. But now I don't do it anymore. Like you said, the consultation that is free for me as well.
Yeah.
And I think it is great for just people to come in and meet you and just get to know you. But also, like you said about skin in the game, I found if you try to offer somebody a free session, and even a lot of times for free consultations, the show rate is not always very high.
It's not the best.
No.
Yeah, it really isn't.
Yeah. So we'll kind of start to wrap it up. Like, what future goals do you have for yourself in ActivU?
I mean, my big goal is to develop an app
Nice.
and make this thing like the Uber of the fitness world.
Yeah.
Like I want to be in, Florida, Texas, everywhere,
Yeah.
and have contracted trainers to where, like, if somebody wants to book a session, they can through the app, and then.
Yeah, I was gonna ask this. Do you have like a typical schedule for you? Like what does your typical day look like, or is it
varies?
Is it always changing?
It varies.
Okay.
I would say Mondays have been fairly light recently, but that could change.
Yeah.
But Tuesdays, Thursdays are very consistently extremely busy.
Yeah, I bet.
5 a.m. clients.
Wow.
Yeah. Then you get a break around like 12:30.
Right.
And then you start back up at 2.
Yeah. Wow. How many sessions a day do you think you can kind of fit in?
I'd say probably 6 or 7.
6 or 7. Okay, that's not bad. Yeah. Because is that drive time kind of like a pain a little bit?
It can be.
I bet.
But here's the thing: I love driving. I have a fuel efficient vehicle.
Nice.
I kind of made that choice when I was starting my
Absolutely.
business, and I think that it's kind of relaxing in a way because when you leave a client, and some of my clients are very located very much outside Wichita.
Okay.
So you got Clearwater.
Oh yeah.
You got
Dang.
Viola, Kansas.
Wow.
Yeah. Benton.
Wow.
So you got people all over the place.
Yeah.
So you are driving a ton.
Yeah.
But I like it.
Yeah. That's good.
And that's kind of something that I think if you want to be an on-demand trainer, you have to enjoy.
Yeah.
Is driving.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said. So you talked about having trainers under working with ActivU. How would that look? Like, would they be employee or independent contractor?
They'd be independent contractors.
Okay.
Essentially, they work when they want to work, when they're on the schedule.
Yeah.
People can look them up, book them, and then they're able to train.
And then would they have to get their own equipment as well?
See, that's something I'm still tabling.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out logistically how that would work.
Right.
But both options are on the table right now.
I gotcha.
Yeah. Whether it's us investing in the equipment for them or them purchasing the equipment themselves.
Do they have? Is there a certain time they have to book before they?
It's usually like you got to let me know at least 2 to 3 hours in advance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because I gotta if I have to reschedule my day
Yeah.
or my availability doesn't reflect where they booked, that kind of a thing. So.
Gotcha. Do you get a lot of last minute schedules, or is it
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
I also get a lot of this has been a frustration is last minute cancellations.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that kind of throws my whole day off. So I put a
Yeah.
policy in place that kind of helps eliminate that. But yeah, that's been a big frustration.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, kind of last thing is, where can we find out more about ActivU?
So currently the website's undergoing some maintenance and kind of a refinish.
Okay.
So that'll be live soon. And then Facebook is probably the best place.
Yeah.
ActivU Better You. That is my page.
Nice.
And it's ActivU.
Okay.
And it's spelled Y-O-U. Or sorry, no, wait. It's ActivU, so ActivU, and then better, spelled out, and then Y-O-U.
Okay.
Yeah, awesome. I couldn't remember for a second. But and then I have a lot of people just reach out through Google or to me directly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you being on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks
today.
for having me.
Thanks for taking the time out of your busy day to come and chat. Thanks for all you do for the community.
Absolutely.
And, yeah, looking forward to seeing what's in your future.
Yeah, same here, man. I'm looking forward to see what you come up with.
Awesome. Well, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
See you guys.